So I'm going to say two words here that you wouldn't normally think would be together, but it is what I'm going to talk about on today's episode on my Trauma and Narcissism Redefined podcast: parenting and narcissistic abuse. A massive welcome, everybody. I'm Caroline. Welcome to my podcast, Trauma and Narcissism Redefined, your weekly dose of hope, inspiration, and education about trauma, narcissistic abuse, all things I've experienced, all things that I want to help and support you with, not only from my personal experience, but also being a trained somatic, can't get my words out there, trained trauma therapist and coach. Do you know what? Sometimes I don't even know what to call myself because I do such a combination. I'm trained in so many things now around somatic techniques. I don't even know what to call myself sometimes. You know, maybe I should just say podcaster, author, and general person that wants to help you heal and thrive. Anyway, I digress. I want to talk to you in this episode really about something that I think is one of the manipulation tactics that a narcissist will use over you when you go through a divorce. So normally when you go through a divorce, from most normal people, that might be a challenging time. Of course it is. Divorce is never nice at any element. But when you go through a divorce with a narcissist, the abuse doesn't stop. It escalates, and we call this post-separation abuse. And they will often use probably three main areas to try and control and manipulate you: children, finances, and potentially through the court system too, where you're being re-traumatized literally all of the time. But in today's episode, I'm going to talk to you about the parenting side of it, the challenges of that. Now, you have to bear in mind, when we're in relationships with a narcissist, we have a severe lack of our own self-worth. And maybe you were like me. My sense of worth, because I'd given up work, I was isolated, and I was a total stay-at-home mother. My only sense of worth came from being a mother. So when we went through our divorce, my sense of worth was being a mother to our children. So if they weren't happy, I saw that as a reflection of me. So I felt a lot of guilt. I felt a lot of shame. I felt like we were living in a broken home. I was now a single mother. All of the horrific words that society uses to represent a family that is fractured and could even be better then, because let's face it, one loving parent with good mental health is better than two rowing people in that relationship. So when you split up from a narcissist, the abuse very often escalates, and they will use the children as that manipulation tool. And it's like literally ripping the scab off all of your wounds, because you so want your children to be okay, to be happy. They will absolutely use that to their advantage at any level. And it's so challenging. It was probably for me the most challenging, even without, I was left with nothing. We were made homeless. I had over 70k debt. That was not nice. But for me, the children element, because being a mum was like literally my number one role, my biggest priority, and where I got my sense of worth. So it was really important for me, for our children to feel stable and secure, even with the instability and chaos that ensued when we went through our divorce. And there were lots of things that I did wrong, sitting in an evening back and forth with text, feeling even worse, and then not sleeping or drinking half a bottle of wine just to numb myself out from the pain. So there was lots and lots of things that I was doing. In fact, I'm hosting a free masterclass on Sunday. So on Sunday, the 15th of September, I'm hosting a free masterclass all about parenting with a narcissist through a trauma-informed lens. So looking at the nervous system, how we react, what our emotions are like. And it's 8 o'clock UK time, 3 Eastern, 12 Pacific. I'll pop the link to register in the show notes. Do register even if you can't make it, because I'll send you the recording. It's one of the hardest things for me, actually, parenting with a narcissist, because there's so much you want to say to them. But the more you say it to them, the more they're going to do it, or they're going to block you out, or not let you speak to the kids if they do go and spend any time with them. It's so difficult. But there are some key strategies that you can use. There's a technique that we call parallel parenting. And again, come and join the masterclass, because I'll go through literally step by step how you set up parallel parenting to navigate parenting with a narcissist, so that you support your own mental health first, because let me tell you, it has to come from you. Just like if you're in an aeroplane, you need to put your own oxygen mask on first, and then obviously you'll be able to support your children more effectively, whatever their age is. Some of you may be listening and your children are adults now, it's still going to be beneficial for you because it's going to help you navigate your own emotions as well. And it never ends. It really doesn't. And sometimes I think, my children are 16 and 20 now. And we still have conversations. I was on This Morning very recently, which is a huge daytime TV show here in the UK, finally talking about narcissistic abuse in the mainstream. And, this sparked conversation then with my eldest and his father about me going on there and just seeing the messages. And actually what was really interesting was he actually saw his dad for what he was. And, normally he appeases a little bit, my son, but he didn't this time. He was really great, actually. And bizarrely, his father thought it was coming from me. And it really, really wasn't. And it was a really great time to see my son step into his own power. So, even if they're not right now, it can happen, but it has to come from you role modeling that sense of regulation, particularly in your nervous system. We'll talk a bit about this in the masterclass as well, because all of these things come together. So it's really important to help you know how to navigate your emotions and then the strategy. Some people just do the strategy and they're all over the place. Some people just navigate the emotions and the strategy isn't right. So come and listen and watch the masterclass on Sunday, because I'll go through all of that step by step. You'll get a recording whether you attend or not. And I'll also stay live and answer any of your questions too. So just click on the link and make sure that you register for that as well. It's totally free. But I always think after the school holidays, I really like to do my parenting one, and I always change and tweak little bits as well, because I think it's really, really important, because it was an area that I really, really struggled with as well. So if you are somebody right now and you feel like, will it ever end? It will, insofar as you will learn how to deal with it. I think a lot of people sit in a space of just not wanting it to be the way it is. And that's not the question to be asking. It's, how do I find a way to be okay internally with my emotions, setting up the strategy with nothing changing, because they will not change. And if you keep waiting for them to change, that's like you drinking rat poison and expecting the rat to die. It's not going to happen. So what we want to do is, remember, when we talk about narcissistic abuse, the trauma isn't the narcissist, that's the abuser. The trauma is what happens inside of you as a result of the narcissistic abuse. And the beauty of trauma is we can work with that, and it doesn't have to be a life sentence. So if you can navigate your emotions, that even with the challenges and even with all the stuff going on, that you are better able to cope, so you can parent more coming from a place of presence and a place of our executive functioning part of our brain without being all over the place emotionally. That is not only better for you health-wise, because often it can lead to chronic illness, it's also better for the children. So make sure you go to the show notes right now and register for that free masterclass, Parenting with a Narcissist. It's really, really important. Come and join me, please. Even if your kids are older, I know you will get something out of all of that too. And again, if you've got friends or other people that you know who also are trying to navigate parenting with a narcissist, please send them the link as well. Everybody is welcome, like literally everybody. And of course, I'll stay and answer any of those questions. So I look forward to seeing you on my Parenting with a Narcissist masterclass. And remember, they will use this as a form of ongoing abuse after you go through a breakup, a separation, or a divorce. Know that that's not your fault, but there are specific things we can do, things like parallel parenting, nervous system regulation. And when it's not about changing the situation, because you can't change a narcissist, it's about how do you navigate and feel better in yourself about the situation. Key difference. So hopefully this has been helpful, and I really look forward to seeing you all on Sunday evening as well on my free masterclass all about parenting with a narcissist. See you then, and I'll see you next week on the podcast.